What would you say about the current state of Bonnie right now?
Excellent.
I think that it? Okay, what about Bonita? What do you think about that?
Close. Maybe another 3 years. Clear pricing. That's about it. Come on, let's go flying. Okay, cut.
Hey guys, Ben Weeks, Bonanza Pilot here. I was noticing today that it's been over 2 weeks since I put a video up. I have one in the works, but it's taking a while with all those camera angles. It's difficult to get that edited. So this is an attempt to stay relevant and stay in the YouTube algorithm. And I guess I'll kind of make this sort of my 200 subscriber special, since I didn't really do one of those. But I figured since it had been a while since anything had really happened with Bonita, or even any updates on Bonnie, I've just mainly been flying it, which I guess is an update enough. I figured I'd kind of walk you through the hangar and show you guys what's going on with all the airplanes and where we're at and what kind of a setup we're working with. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get to it. Okay, we'll start with the straight 35. It's not going anywhere from here for a while. My brother wants to mount it up on his shop. Stick the wings, which are over there, stick the wings back on it in the tail, and make it kind of a weather vaning thing. We stripped most of the parts off that we can really use. The windows are kind of cracked and everything already, so we still pull screws and all other hardware off as we need it, but there's only so much more usefulness that this thing really has for us. But it was always handy to have just fuselages lying around. So yeah, the hangar, of course, always has junk parked in front of the planes that I have to move anytime I want to take off, but that's okay. It takes about 3 minutes to get things out of the way. So first off, Bonnie is just running marvelously right now. I guess I should knock on wood when I say that, but things are pretty great. Really been getting some good hours on it since we put on that new cylinder. Everything's been great. This electric prop that we got fixed has just been wonderful. I love it to death. Love the electric props. We recently had an issue with the prop. I don't think you can see the pitch change motor, but it's in there. Thought that was going to be an expensive fix, but it wasn't. It just had a stuck brush or something like that. You'll probably notice the elephant in the room is the lack of wing tip tanks. I have a little clip about that, which I might show now, but we got those pulled off, and they're sitting in my room. So pardon my really messy room right now. Clothes really need to be put away. Here's where Bonnie's tip tanks ended up at. We had those pulled off, and we just replaced them with some M-style tips that we had, that my dad's had for a while. Not the first time we've done that. My dad did it back when he painted the airplane. We just had to go through these. We were having some issues with the sending units for the tanks, so that's what we were messing with here. We're getting it figured out. They were on pretty old, rough shape. This one's actually not working. I have to replace it. And then here, this is actually a leak that was fixed, but as long as we have the tip tanks off, we'd like to just get those repaired. We also have a nipple here that has kind of gotten torn up. It's supposed to look like that, but it actually looks like this. So that's where we're at. Yeah, my room kind of becomes a parts storage area. So, anywho. So we replaced it with the M-tips. No nav lights, no night flying for us right now until we get those hooked up. let's see, other than that, I washed her recently. That's surprising. Not that it did any good. I've heard there's some waxy stuff you put on the leading edge and on the cowling and stuff that will help shed all the bug, but it's almost a losing battle. She'll have to be cleaned again. I cleaned the windows more than anything because got to keep that footage looking nice. Not that it ever does. But yeah, anything else to mention? No, not really. Everything's great, which I'm happy about. Oh, the tail-mounted camera, that's given me all kinds of grief over the potential dangers, which I fully understand. The dangers you encounter when you put anything on a flying surface that could potentially interrupt the airflow over your ruddervators. But so far, 3 or 4 hours in with that thing mounted, and I have had no issues to speak of with it. I mean, the tail hasn't fallen off, so that's good, right? But I'm going to put tons of hours with that thing in all kinds of different speeds and attitudes just to make sure before I would fly with passengers, because I'm not completely incompetent. Small tail, you'll notice, any of you guys that have the E-Series, that is the C model or later, notice you get a tail cuff here, but not on the small tail. The straight through the B model did not have that. No tail problems, no tails falling off for us, for the most part. Oh, look at that, a weird ruddervator apparatus. I thought this was like off of a G or something. Turns out this weight, the pointy weight, I think was introduced in the H model and later. Maybe even like the S model and later, I'm not sure. I'm so bad at remembering the V-tail, the ruddervator changes. As you can see, there is some awful hanger rash here. So this thing was shot, but we did some testing. There were bricks over there for a while. There's a video about that. You'll see. Might be interesting. A lot of editing that needs to be done on that. This will go up a lot quicker. Jacks. We got that jacks from. These are sad story. I don't even want to talk about it, but we have jacks, so that's cool. We already had jacks, but these are better jacks. Less good jacks, better. Wheels, lots of old tires and tubes. Flaps. Here's a flap off of Bonita. It's got tears in it somewhere along the trailing edge. Damaged in transit. There it is. See that right there. When you transport your airplane, because all of you guys are going to go get a project bonanza like that, please do. Take off the control surfaces. It's going to take you an extra maybe hour and a half, if that, probably an hour and a half to pull them off, but it is worth it because otherwise you will damage all your control surfaces in transit with your straps and you'll have to find new surfaces like an idiot. Don't do that. Bonita, not a lot's going on. Look at the dust. Oh my goodness. Lots of dust. Wings, if you guys need a set of wings off a B model, hit me up. benweeksbonanzapilot@gmail.com. If you guys need a wing, you can contact me. There's a flap we replaced. It's a good flap. It just isn't painted right now. But we got another set of flaps, so that's just going to be a spare. Got it from a nice gentleman. Speed slope windshield. Look at that. Got rid of the two-piece, if you remember. Still needs to be riveted in, but at least it's fitted. Looks pretty cool. I'm not a major fan of the speed slope windshield, but I think I like it better than the two-piece, even though I know a lot of purists would about crucify me for saying that. Storm window is out right now. My brother's going to be changing out these windows for the kind that has the, well, they were off the parts airplane that you can see in the background, that have the like built-in plexiglass cut out instead of this frame, which I like those a lot better. There's both sides, so you get a little better ventilation in the air. So these, and I believe the back windows are going to change. He's going to leave the third window. Just been sitting here collecting dust for a while. Hopefully this thing gets in the air. My brother Has a little mini Stanley and or Stanley Edda on the way, so this might get stuck on the back burner if progress isn't made, but we're really close. We just need change the prop. This is a beautiful Hartzell prop that we are going to get rid of. We're going to delete it, and we're going to go back to the electric prop like we have on Bonnie. Got a good deal from Adam McPeck, and got a buddy of mine that needs this Hartzell, which he's probably going to see this and wish that it was taken off and already boxed, but it will be soon. I bet you by the end of the week. He's going to be super happy with it. It hasn't even been ran. We sent it to the shop, prop shop for the 500-hour AD, and came back. They said it was in great shape. The blades are in amazing shape, barely even been used. So this thing, the clock's ticking on it already for the 500-hour AD, but it was done back in December of 2019, so it's still got a while on it. It's in good shape. So we're going to pull that off. We're going to take off all the hydraulic stuff, which you probably can't see any of that, but we have to delete that, pull out all the hydraulic lines, get all that junk out. Hooray for that. That's a nice braided line, though. If somebody needs that, we'll probably sell that to someone. Get rid of the T-drive, all that junk, and then get the wiring harness and everything. He sent us everything for the electric prop. It's an 88-inch, so I'm going to be jealous. He's going to have an 88-inch prop, electric prop, Beach 215 on here, and then we'll only have the 84-inch. It's cut. The blade tips are cut. But yeah, we're going to get the wiring harness. We're going to have to wire it all up. It's going to be a major job and probably make the downtime even longer, but we'll never have to worry about hydraulic lines blowing and losing all our engine oil. Trying to find a field somewhere, so that's a plus. But yeah, I mean, if we weren't taking windows out and changing windshields and stuff, this thing would be really close to getting annual. Ruddervators are balanced and reinstalled. With the paint looks pretty good. We're gonna keep an eye out for filiform corrosion. Not an issue on that bird because there's no paint. Wing bolts are in good shape. Everything's torqued already, I believe. Maybe we're gonna wait to torque until the annual. I don't know. The interior, I think Stanley also wants to change the interior out out of this B model parts airplane. Those third windows are for sale if you want them, not the side windows. Those are being taken and put in here. But yeah, third window kit with the extended baggage, pretty cool. This is secure so that this thing couldn't possibly fall. Our beautiful airplane. I cannot believe we even have this set up here. We have many hobbies here. Let's see. Oh, here's that box labeled aircraft parts. Has two flaps that are going on here. Seats. These are the seats out of Bonita here. Since Stanley's putting in those seats that are back in the corner, those brown ones, and all that interior, we might be able to snag these seats for Bonnie. That'd be cool. Bonnie's seats are a little worn out. I don't know. They're still fine, probably. Access panels are all out currently. Will be until annual. Here's the cowling off of the straight 35, which I think is in pretty decent shape. We might sell that. We might just keep it, though. I don't know. Never know when you might need it. I mean, if someone offered us maybe a substantial amount of money for them, I don't know. Might sell. It's up to my brother. He likes to sell things. So here's a speed slope windshield that is shot. They put a sticker of some kind on here, and it just wrecked the plexiglass. I don't know if that was the adhesive or what it was that did it. So this is probably just going to go back on the plane when they make a weather vane out of it. Here are the windows that are going in Stanley's airplane in Bonita. Set of gear doors, maybe for sale as well. Ailerons off of Bonita that got damaged as well. I was such an idiot. Parts airplane, spare engine. We almost used a cylinder off of that, but they were chrome. 4-ring piston. And so we couldn't convert it over for some reason. I forget why. So we took off a whole cylinder. I took off a cylinder for no reason. And then we had to reinstall it. That was great. No prop, sadly. Wish I had a prop on it. Rotovators, free of corrosion, gonna last us forever. Or else, no filiform, I believe. Patriotic, of course. Not really any airplane parts back here other than Stanley's radios that he's gonna have to install. I think a transponder, which he probably won't install because why would he at this point? Need ADSB. Some old bent blades. Old bent 88-inch blades though, but lawn ornament at this point. Old wooden blade there, pretty cool. Also a lawn ornament, unless one day those become just massively valuable. I don't know. God bless America. Yeah, that's probably it. So yeah, Bonita we're just, ticking the boxes, getting things ready, making progress. Maybe by the end of the summer, if we're lucky, she'll be in the air. It just depends on whether Stanley actually gets busy and gets things going. I should be also contributing, but I have college and MCAT study and a bunch of things. Plus, I have a flying airplane, so why in the world would I mess with this? But no, I'm always interested in helping getting this thing going. She hasn't ran in a while. We really need to take her out and taxi her again, but that probably won't happen until we get the electric prop put on. Which might be kind of a job, but I'm getting really close getting my license, but I'm going to need the testing center to open up so I can take my written. And then I need a few more hours. So here's the runway. Look, we got a courtesy car at Taneyville International Airport here. I guess I never really told you guys the history of this place. This is actually right next door to our house. And this building is where my dad's uncle, so I guess my great uncle, lived. He had a straight 35 way back. He's who got Dad into Bonanzas. So when Dad moved up here from Florida, he moved next door. And my uncle had made this airstrip, put it in many, many years ago. It is 1,800 feet from the drop-off on the south end to the telephone lines on the north end. And so the level part where you'll notice most of our landings, we kind of land right where it levels off there. That's about 1,300 feet from the level spot to the end of the south end. But yeah, it has been mowed finally. It tends to grow really quickly. I don't like how tall the grass is. Dad says it's fine. I guess it's fine. I prefer golf course length grass. But way back, we had to clear all these, actually a few years ago, clear the sides of the runway. If you'll notice the low stuff here, had to get the old bulldozer out and working, and it grows back so fast. I mean, it's only been about 2 years since we cleared this, and it's already starting to get so high that it gets into the wings if you get off course, which shouldn't happen, but I'll show you here in a second what can happen if you're operating in a real soft field, wet condition. So yeah, now we're up at the south end of the runway, kind of widens out here. But yeah, let me show you this. If you'll look, ground is real soggy. It just rained last night. But here is a really muddy spot, which I don't know if you can see you might sort of be able to see the lines here where 3 wheels kind of go off to the side. That was from a little while ago. I was taking off from here, and this is actually a puddle of water, and I've got the footage from that. I ran right through it, and it sort of hydroplaned, sort of just ran straight through a bunch of water over the wing and started pulling me off towards the brush there, and just gave it a lot of right rudder and had enough authority to get it back on track and took off as normal. But yeah, you gotta be careful on these soft fields and short fields. There's not a lot of room for error. That's why I'm not flying today, even though it's a beautiful morning, because it's still so soft. I would rather not have a repeat of the last fiasco. Here's our we have two windsocks. You may not have realized that, but this is our redneck windsock. Turns out the windsock way down there can lie every so often, so that is a PVC pipe and a trash bag that's been on there for over a year now and still intact. And that tells us when we're up here and we think we're good to take off to the north, which is our preferred downhill takeoff. If the winds are actually different than what we thought, that will tell us, and you definitely do not want to take off if that is blowing to the north, because there's just not a lot of room for error. You need everything in your favor, so it's always kind of a decision you have to make. If the winds are light, you have to say, well, are the winds light enough that we should just take off downhill, which gives us more speed and a quicker liftoff? Or should we start way at the bottom down on the north end and take off to the south? Really, it's a pretty easy decision. If there's any amount of wind at all out of the south, then we'll usually just take off to the south because there's really no obstructions on this side. Those trees you see kind of on the end that look like they're only about 6 feet tall, those are actually displaced about 100 feet back. And as long as you lift off, which you're always in the air, as long as you're in the air, by the time it levels off here, you're gonna clear anything over there. So it's actually a pretty clear approach. That took a lot of chainsaw work way back. Everything's kind of fine here. This is widened out. I wish the whole runway was this wide, but it isn't. This is real rocky. Not good if you have a pretty airplane with lots of nice paint. You might throw some gravel into it, but you start your roll over there in the grass, and by the time you get to here, you're moving enough that hopefully it's not throwing a lot of gravel. Yeah, then you just head for open skies. But there, you got a runway tour. I bet you guys were just ecstatic about that. You all really wanted to know what it's like to have a runway in your backyard. Pretty much more mowing and more cutting and more bulldozing, with the convenience of being able to walk outside and go flying. Yes, this is you're seeing exactly what you think you're seeing. This is a windsock pole, extension cord tied to a dead tree. At least I think it's dead. Yeah, those are thorns. Those are not. This tree used to grow a little bit. The poor thing's being taken over by thorns at this point. Oh, wait, never mind. It is still alive. Oh, shoot. No, it's not. Those are vines. Yep, it's dead. It's dead at this point. These used to grow and sprout a little bit, and I kept trimming them back because I didn't want them to interfere with the windsock. And I think I killed it. I should have let it grow a little more. I should have just trimmed it off the top, I guess. Yeah, this thing's been here forever and still holding up. As you can see, the tree kind of claimed it. There's the plug. Yeah, in case you wanted to know what kind of professional operation we're running here, the windsock, they say you can tell a lot about a man based on his windsock. And there's ours. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks a lot for 200 subscribers. It's really awesome. It's been fun. Thank you to my sponsor, who I might actually show in this video. I'm not sure. Probably not. I probably won't have him in here. But I got a sponsor, CFI. Has a ground school, elevationadventures.com. See, I already mentioned him. Really cool guy. I had a chance to talk with him over the interweb. Some coronavirus communication, I guess. And it's really neat. He showed me around, and he's going to offer a discount for my followers. So that's pretty cool. I guess since I'm mentioning it, I'll probably just put it in. We'll see. Maybe not. Maybe later. But yeah, it's been really cool. A lot of exciting things happening. So yeah, thank you to all of my subscribers. And then for the 90 of you, or 90% of you that watch my videos and don't subscribe, it'd be really cool if you did. But I appreciate you watching anyways. I hope you enjoy the content. So whether you subscribe and hit the bell button and all that or not, it's up to you. But think about it. And until next time, Ben Weeks Bonanza Pilot out. But wait, I'm actually not gone. I have a sponsor, and he has given me a 10% discount for all my viewers. If you go onto elevation.com, do ground school, and enter code BEN, that's nice and easy, B-E-N, you'll get his discount. You'll get my discount. You'll get the Ben Weeks Bonanza Pilot discount, which is super cool. So if you're thinking about getting into aviation, which you absolutely should, and you need to start, it's a good idea to just kick off your training with some ground school. His website is super useful. I had really bad internet while we were there, so it was kind of laggy, but it's a really nice website. It's really something I believe in, and I talked to him a little bit, and he said some things in a better way than I even could, so I'm going to cut over to him, mentioning kind of why his ground school is useful and why he decided to partner up with some stupid student pilot like me.
So my name is John. I run elevationadventures.com, which is an online ground school offering personalized one-on-one ground school for a private pilot, instrument pilot, commercial pilot, or any study session to help you get ready for flying in the real world.
Neat. That was good. That was perfect. Man, I should have questions and stuff. So what's your view? What's kind of your goal with the website? Do you have any? I mean, other than just as a hobby on the side, do you have any bold, aggressive plans for changing the world, anything like that?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, one thing that I noticed during my training was all of the ground school options were either from your CFI and they didn't want to do it because they don't get flight hours for it, or it was you go online, you download questions, and you try to memorize all the questions. The problem with that is you never really learn why you're doing what you're doing, and you don't become a safer, better pilot, and really get to experience the great thing that is flying. And so I wanted to do Elevation Adventures so that when a student comes and starts training, they get another person that they can call. If you get stuck on something, it's one more person to text. When you get your license and you're not sure if it's a go, no-go decision, it's one more person you can call to make sure that your thoughts are correct. And then at the same token, watching videos on YouTube is absolutely fantastic for entertainment, but it doesn't really help understand why you're doing what you're doing, because you can't pause the video and ask somebody, why is it that they do what they do?
Oh, exactly. That's such a good point. Sorry to interrupt. I didn't mean to cut you off midstream there. But the whole videos for entertainment only thing, people have so much. A lot of channels, at some point, I'm going to have to do this, where I put a disclaimer at the start of every video and say this is for entertainment only. Especially the Stoll videos, which I know you watched those. I'm a student pilot, know nothing, and I'm going in and it's like, look, I'm going to show you guys and I'm going to talk through what I'm doing, because that's the only way it's interesting. If you just see me there concentrating as I'm controlling the aircraft, it's boring. So I'm going to talk through what I'm doing, and you'll probably see a bunch of mistakes, but it's at least a slightly more entertaining content. But then a lot of people then took that as, oh, this student pilot thinks he can show people what to do. It's like, do not follow me. Please do not do what I'm doing. I mean, check with an instructor. And that's what a lot of the YouTube channels tell you to do, is to go follow with your instructor. I'll probably have to do that at some point. But this serves as a good way for me to say, look, I am just there to watch something. I mean, you might see something funny or see something stupid or something you enjoy. I was like, this is in no way going to help you learn to be a pilot. It's just not going to happen. So the idea that you need to supplement that is definitely a good idea. So yeah, there you have it. Really great conversation with John that I had. I cut it really short. I've got over an hour of footage with him. I might bring that up later. I thought it was a good conversation that we had and started. He's a Bonanza owner, by the way, owns a beautiful A model with tip tanks and everything. So in the future, might be collaborating with him, going on some flights and stuff. Very knowledgeable guy. I just had such a great time talking to him. Super nice. So if you want to support the channel, it would be fantastic. Go over there. You get 10% off on any of the packages by entering code BEN, B-E-N. And it would help me out and help John out, and it will help you out, because you'll learn a lot with him. He's a very competent instructor. And so hopefully I can bring up this conversation. The idea of getting an instructor involved in my channel is something I'm really happy about. As just a stupid student pilot, he's a lot more knowledgeable and has better things to say than I do. So I really look forward to this partnership, and yeah, go check him out over there at elevationadventures.com. And okay, this is officially the end. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Okay, cut.